Ryu Hayabusa is a descendant of a clan of dragon ninjas who have kept the peace in Japan for generations. One day, he received the news that his home village, the Dragon Village, was attacked by someone. He hurried home to take care of things. But he returned home, only to find that he was too late. He could do nothing but stare at the rubble that was once his village. Ryu found the sole survivor in the village. With his last few words, the survivor told Ryu that the Bushido had been stolen. The Bushido is an ancient scroll that has been handed down through generations of dragon ninjas. This document contains secrets about ways to summon the powers of this world. According to Ryu's ancestors, whoever summoned these powers could even conquer the world. Ryu whipped out his dragon sword, which is also endowed with such powers. He swore to himself that he would regain the Bushido and take revenge for his village. And with that said, hola amigos and welcome to Let's Play Ninja Gaiden on Sega Master System. Before we get too into this, there's one thing I'd like to say about this game. It's good and bad at the same time. You're gonna see why. As Ryu started walking away from the village, a horde of men stood in his way. One such man was a sumo wrestler, who said, "I'm surprised that anyone's left alive after what we did." "What? Where did you take the Bushido?" "I'll tell you, if you can defeat me in battle, but I don't think you're strong enough to do that. You'll regret those words." Oh man. So, Ninja Gaiden on the Master System. Pretty basic control setup. You can jump, you can slash, you can hang from platforms, you can fall down the platforms. Notable things, you can press up and the attack button, which I have mapped to square on a PS3 controller. Whatever you have your attack button mapped out to, that's pressing up, and that will enable you to use ninjutsu techniques, just like it did in the NES games. Another thing is the fact that all the techniques and weapons have changed up a bit. You now start with the small shuriken by default, and you can upgrade to a big shuriken, kinda like the windmill shuriken, only it doesn't boomerang back to you. But it does plow through enemies like a hot knife through everything, so yeah, that's what we have right now. Okay, so going up here. This game isn't made by Tecmo, actually. This game was made by Sega. Alright, so we got the fire wheel, probably the best weapon in the game. It's pretty much invincibility. Alright, this is the four-way shot. I have no idea what the actual name of this move is, I just call it the four-way shot. Pretty much shoots in four directions. If you couldn't get that by the name, man, I pity you. Anyway, the enemies here are pretty basic. You've got green ninjas, you've got ninjas that jump out of the spikes somehow, and you've apparently got Scolipede from Pokemon Black and White falling from the sky at regular intervals. It's really weird. Oh, that was a ninja coming out of the... I want to know why the ninjas are allowed to come... well, like the green ninjas are allowed to come to this fight. Is that their special power or something? Also, I'm standing on a ladder. Pretty sure that wasn't intent... well, actually, it kinda was. There's a part in one of the levels where you are actually going to have to use that trick. and it's kind of ridiculous why they'd make it easy. Anyway, here's the homing fireball. A 4-way fireball shot. Pretty simple. Figure out it will lock onto the nearest enemies. These bombs, by the way, do count as enemies in its coding, so... Okay, so got the Ninpo power. This game throws you just an incredible amount of Ninpo. It's almost ridiculous how much energy this game gives you. Okay, so that's a B. Now the game does have time limits, and they are somewhat strict if you're not used to the time limits. That being said, boss fight time! The boss fights are made incredibly long in this game due to the fact that they all have a damage flash. None of Tecmo's Ninja Gaiden actually, had this damage flash for the bosses. Unfortunately, this game gives all the bosses Mercy Invincibility. Which means well, really, it just means that the boss fights take longer than they would on an NES Ninja Gaiden game. Like, this guy would be toast on the NES. Like, he wouldn't just be dead, he'd be just dead, like, multiple times over. Anyway, now for the coolest technique, press both buttons at the same time to... Screen Explosion! It takes up a bit of your health, but it's kinda good in case you need to just finish off that enemy in the most showboaty way possible. I never expected that you were this strong. The Bushido isn't here. It's in the... Suddenly, someone stabbed the sumo wrestler in the back. It wasn't me. I have a sword, not a knife. Who is that? Ryu tried to chase the man who had stabbed the sumo wrestler. But the man quickly disappeared into the forest. How do you outrun a ninja? Fuck. Come on, don't die now. We need you. Tokyo. And that's pretty much gonna do it for this episode. Episode 2 is gonna cover Chapter 2, and obviously I'm gonna cover a chapter in each episode, except for the last chapter, which is the final boss, and even then I still might cover it in its own episode, but... Anyway, as you can see, the plot isn't quite like the Tecmo games, and there's a lot of differences that we are gonna get into, but... not right now, so until then, this is Tales Progress signing out. Take care.